Breaking. Diddy's case just took a shocking turn, as his 50 cents exposes his hidden recordings. Before you watch, hit like and subscribe right now for the most explosive updates. There was a time when Diddy's name alone could silence a room. He was more than just a producer or businessman. He was an idea, the embodiment of black wealth, hustle, and relentless reinvention. He spun stories from the streets of Harlem to the boardrooms of Wall Street, bragged about building bad boy records from scratch, and carried the ghosts of Biggie and a generation's lost voices like badges on his designer sleeves. But all that shine needed shadows to thrive. Contracts rewritten in the dead of night. Young artists trapped in lifetime publishing deals they never understood. Writers paid off with hush money, threats, or a whispered promise of, "Next time, kid." And somewhere in the middle of it all, the one man who watched it happen from day one, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Their rivalry wasn't born in rap battles alone. It was personal. Before 50 Cent was a household name, he'd hustled beats and bars for pennies, brushing shoulders with Diddy's lieutenants who laughed him out of meeting rooms. When he finally blew up, he vowed never to be another man's puppet. He built his own empire, G-Unit, TV shows, liquor deals, while publicly mocking Diddy's shiny suits and dance for the camera style. But behind the jokes, 50 Cent kept score. Every blackballed artist, every backhand deal, every friend who left the industry broke. He archived it all. The first time 50 got hold of a real recording was accidental. A security guard from a Miami club slipped him a battered mini-disc. It held fuzzy audio of Diddy yelling about buying silence after a club brawl left a dancer with a broken jaw. 50 paid the guard $5,000, tucked the disc away, and kept moving. Years passed. Each time someone whispered about Diddy's secrets, 50 made quiet phone calls. A disgruntled road manager here, a forgotten studio engineer there. Cash exchanged hands. Old hard drives were cloned. Non-disclosure agreements were broken by bigger paychecks. By 2022, 50's private vault held so much evidence that even he wondered how the house of cards still stood. He didn't plan to drop it all in court. But when a young ghostwriter sued Bad Boy for unpaid royalties, a small claim no one thought would stick, 50 saw the perfect match. He paid the kids' legal bills in secret. He funded investigators to dig up every stale contract buried in record label storage rooms. And when Diddy's lawyers tried to bury the case with a settlement, 50 ordered his team to push for a public trial instead. The day it all began, fans thought it was just another tabloid circus, hip-hop beef for the blogs, another petty fight between two aging moguls who'd once topped the charts. But when court filings named secret audio recordings spanning 2 decades as evidence, the entire industry held its breath. Inside the courtroom, Diddy's legal army wore $1,000 suits and the arrogance of men used to winning. But as the first recordings played, grainy, crackling confessions that the mogul thought were forever buried, their confidence crumbled. One recording showed Diddy discussing how to bury an assault accusation from a hotel maid in 2006. Another captured him laughing about keeping the block hot by paying gossip sites to leak fake rivalries. It wasn't just betrayal of trust. It was a roadmap for manipulation, a blueprint for deceit laid bare before judge and jury. Each tape hit harder than the last. One voice note exposed how Diddy used intimidation tactics to force artists to sign away masters. Another hinted at backroom deals with radio DJs to blacklist competitors. Reporters typed so fast their fingers blistered. Jurors looked sick. Diddy's fans outside the courthouse argued fiercely on social media, torn between loyalty and disbelief. Some accused 50 Cent of fabricating the tapes, but forensic experts confirmed their authenticity under oath. The tension cracked something deep inside Diddy. He'd survived gun charges, financial audits, and tabloid storms, but nothing prepared him for hearing his own voice betray him over and over. By day 5, he barely slept. Eyewitnesses described him staring into the distance, lips moving silently as if praying for a miracle that wouldn't come. He snapped at his own lawyers. He demanded recesses. He threatened to fire everyone, to sue 50 Cent for defamation. But the truth already had its claws in him. Meanwhile, 50 Cent sat stone still in the gallery. No entourage, no jewelry, just a small, satisfied smirk that said, "You didn't think I'd really let you get away forever, did you?" The public devoured every drop of scandal. Former bad boy artists popped up on podcasts, weeping about lost youth and stolen hits. Old producers shared emails proving songs were stolen and resold to bigger names. Radio DJs confessed to taking envelopes stuffed with cash to spin certain singles to the top of charts. The empire Diddy built on beats and bravado cracked in real time, not with a bang, but with the drip, drip, drip of betrayal, confession, and receipts. By the 10th day, Diddy looked nothing like the man who once swaggered through shiny suits and champagne bubbles. His once perfect lineup was scruffy. He winced when journalists snapped photos. His lawyers begged him to settle, to cut a check so big it might buy silence again. But this time, silence wasn't for sale. When the judge rejected a last-minute gag order, Diddy knew it was over. His eyes darted around the packed courtroom, but found no safe face, no loyal friend to lean on. Even his once loyal lieutenants avoided his stare. And then, the final recording. One no one knew about. Not even 50 Cent's team until days before. A hidden wire on a manager caught Diddy cackling about how easy it was to pit young rappers against each other, how beefs boosted streams, how violence sold more albums than love ever could. He laughed about funerals turning into marketing opportunities. And in that laugh, the last shred of his public sympathy died. When the recording ended, no one moved. A chill filled the room that the buzzing overhead lights could not warm. Diddy's lawyer's voice cracked as he tried to object, but the judge silenced him with a single look. The court stenographer dabbed tears from the corner of her eye before typing on. 50 Cent leaned forward, elbows on his knees, eyes locked on the man who once laughed him off as a loud-mouthed hustler from Queens. Now, the hustler owned the room. The irony was not lost on him, all the rap feuds, the diss tracks, the social media trolling. None of it had the power of a single recording spilling truth, rawer than any lyric could hold. A bailiff announced recess. Reporters flew out the door to blast the last bombshell to every hungry screen across America. In that moment, a generation's idol was a cautionary tale, and every big name who'd once circled him like planets around a sun began crafting carefully worded statements of disapproval. Outside, the courthouse steps swarmed with fans, curious onlookers, conspiracy theorists, and pop culture historians jotting down the death rattle of an era. Parents dragged teenagers closer to the barricades, pointing, "Remember this. Power don't mean nothing when receipts show up." Inside, Diddy remained seated, refusing help. His breathing came shallow. A medic approached, but he waved them off at first, clutching the oak table as if it could anchor him back to the version of himself that had danced through every scandal untouched. The judge returned, gavel in hand. In a voice that carried no pity, she summarized what the jury had already made clear in their restless eyes. The tapes proved a pattern of manipulation and financial coercion spanning 20 years. Artists and staff, once powerless, were to be compensated. Royalties recalculated. Secret contracts voided. A hefty fine that alone would cripple most tycoons. But it was never about the money. It was about history rewriting itself, one hidden recording at a time. As she spoke, Diddy's head drooped forward. A heavy silence suffocated the chamber. The room leaned in. Then came the sound, a sharp gasp, and he pitched sideways, collapsing to the polished wood floor. A collective shout rose. A mother in the back, one who'd lost her son to gang violence fueled by a feud Diddy once bragged about, clutched her rosary and whispered a prayer she never thought she'd say for the man who profited from her grief. Paramedics barged through the side door, their radios squawking. Reporters pressed faces against glass windows. Someone tweeted, "Diddy fainted. Courtroom chaos. Karma's real." The tweet racked up 1 million shares before the gurney even wheeled him out the side exit. 50 Cent remained seated, hands steepled under his chin. No smile now, just an unreadable mask. When a young reporter dared to ask, "Did you want this to happen?" he looked her dead in the eye and answered, "I wanted the truth." What happens after that is up to the truth. In the days that followed, the fallout spread like wildfire. Streaming platforms quietly paused his royalties, pending court recalculations. Former partners deleted photos. Celebrities once proud to call him Big Brother now posted vague apologies for complicity in a toxic industry. Talk shows booked ex-bodyguards who described vault rooms stacked with NDAs and folders marked insurance. Music historians debated if his legacy should remain on playlists or be scrubbed like old statues toppled in town squares. Meanwhile, 50 Cent did what only 50 could do. He pivoted scandal into production. He announced a docuseries, Behind the Velvet Rope, The Diddy Tapes, a raw episode-by-episode unpacking of every confession, every bribe, every quiet betrayal that built an empire. He promised profits from the series would seed a trust for underpaid ghostwriters and background singers who'd built multi-platinum albums but never saw a fraction of the wealth. Some critics sneered, claiming 50 was still playing the villain. But for every hater, there were thousands in the comments writing, "At least someone exposed it. At least now we know." In a luxury hospital suite, hidden from cameras, Diddy woke up to find himself more alone than ever. Rumors swirled that even his family questioned how far the manipulations went. Doctors ordered bed rest, but no medicine could dull the roar of betrayal looping on every news station. His lawyers squabbled about appeals, but found no angle. The recordings were a coffin nail no spin could pry loose. Fans debated fiercely online. "He gave us anthems," some cried. "Yeah, and took people's lives apart behind the beat," others fired back. Protesters spray-painted "Pay the Artists" outside Bad Boy's once lavish HQ, now guarded by nervous security behind locked doors. In interviews, 50 Cent never called it revenge. He called it balance. When you steal someone's song, you're stealing a piece of their soul. For years, people thought it was just the game. Nah, it was a game rigged for him to always win. Well, he lost, and he lost on tape. 6 months later, the industry recalibrated. Labels scrambled to renegotiate old deals before skeletons spilled from other closets. Young rappers demanded clear contracts, real ownership. Hip-hop blogs, once obsessed with feuds, began championing artist unions. One journalist summed it best. "It took 20 years, a petty genius named 50 Cent, and 1,000 hidden files to teach us the real cost of a hit song." In the final moments of his own statement, broadcast worldwide, Diddy appeared on a live stream, older than he'd ever looked. No diamond chain, no entourage, just him, a lone man in a silent room, staring into a laptop camera. "I apologize for my mistakes," he rasped. "I never wanted to hurt nobody. I built this for us." But the stream cut off when the chat exploded with a flood of snake emojis, lawsuit links, and raw pain typed by people who knew us never included them. Outside that digital noise, a young boy in the Bronx plugged in cheap headphones and rapped into a cracked phone, dreaming of being the next big thing. But he did so differently now. His big brother made sure his demos were copyrighted. His mother recorded every handshake on video. And when someone asked why, she answered simply, "Because not all kings are honest, and truth don't bury itself forever." And somewhere in his office, 50 Cent watched it all unfold, not with champagne or cigars, but with a quiet grin that said, "Sometimes patience is the longest play, and sometimes the mic really does get passed back to those who deserved it in the first place."